So good afternoon, everyone. We're dealing with unit number 3, technical communication. Today we're going to talk about critical and creative thinking process and its importance in a professional life. So creative and critical thinking and communication. Remember, you are engineers and engineers are sought to be or thought to be innovators and creative thinkers. And innovation and discoveries that were made due to a different perspective that people had. A different combination of creative and critical thinking skills made people innovate what they did. Now, because of the combination of this set of skills, what happens is you would not only enrich your area of subject but will also deepen your experiences as well. Creative and critical thinking skills can benefit many areas of your life, from problem solution to decision making. So now let's look at first what is creative thinking. So what is creative thinking? It is about applying imagination to find a solution to your learning task. A way of looking at problems or situations from a fresh perspective that suggests unorthodox solutions. So what do we mean by unorthodox solutions? We mean to say solutions that look uh, improper in the beginning, but then they would work out. Creative thinking means also the generation of a new idea in one's profession. It actually involves the process of imagination, illumination, conception, assessment, and communication. What are the objectives of creative thinking? The objectives of creative thinking are to think and conceive the advanced idea in a logical way, to offer advanced features to what already is present. You take what is there with as a foundation, and then you move ahead and build upon that foundation, to imagine things from different dimensions, different perspectives, different lookouts, and also improve the standard of living of a society. What are the prerequisites of creative thinking? Imaginative ability, open mindedness, observation skills, and seeking opportunities by looking at things from various angles. Anticipation of needs. What do we need? You have to anticipate, you have to decide beforehand. Readiness to try something new. Analytical skills, extending the ideas that already exist and being critical about oneself. So, are you a creative thinker? I have got a riddle for you. I'm giving you a few minutes of time to solve this riddle. You may type your answers in the chat box. To see, we've got a few answers. Let's look at what the answer is. So the answer to this riddle is nothing. If you replace it everywhere, you'll make more sense of the riddle. And we uh, this is what we would prefer if we are talking about creative thinking skills, right? Thinking apart from what seems to be there, looking at the question from various different angles, etc. Now, critical thinking. Critical thinking is a skill that helps you take decisions in crucial or situations of crisis. Critical thinking involves analyzing the availability of practical resources, and it does help in utilizing the available resources at the optimum level. Critical thinkers are generally curious and impractical at the same time. And while encountering a problem, one person who is a critical thinker would not panic but would remain calm and think in a different way. Critical thinkers would look at problem as opportunities for exploring new horizons, and they contribute finding out solution in a practical way. He or she actually tries to find out a solution in more innovative ways instead of panicking and just sitting and lamenting over the problem that has occurred. Objectives of critical thinking: to find out normal ways to bring out solutions to a problem, to utilize the available resources at the optimum level or to the maximum, to anticipate the problems and likely solutions, to assess problems logically and presenting some process leading to solution, to decide amongst the best available alternative. What are the prerequisites of critical thinking? One, curiosity. You should be curious enough to look at that problem. Then perfection. Then open mindedness. Next, analytical skills, judgmental skills, because you have to look at problems and find solutions. That's why judgmental skills. Practical skills, reasoning abilities, and being calm. So, are you a critical thinker? Look carefully at the jumble words and try to unscramble as many words as possible. You may only use the number of alphabets that are given to you. For example, you can just use SING to form sing, singing a song, right? GUN for gun, GUNS gun. So whatever alphabets are given, only those you can use. I'm giving you 5 minutes of time to make the best of this activity. Happy to see that you were able to make the keyword over here, right? That was genius, right? Most of you got it correct, right? But what I was expecting is 2-letter words, 3-letter words, 4-letter words, 5-letter words, which you could make meaningful words, right? We can do this activity once again, don't worry. So what is the importance of critical and creative thinking in communication? Remember, when we talked about the definition of communication, it is actually defined as a meaningful exchange of information, thoughts, and feelings between two living creatures, right? And if communication is good, creative and critical thinking is the engine that provides this meaning. Communication actually starts with a thought, feeling, and emotion, and then ideas are built upon it. Now, before you put your idea through to the receiver, creative and critical thinkings are the tools that help you build your ideas effectively. Remember, effective communication starts with a clear process. A constant pursuit of creative and critical thinking equips leaders and managers to take proper decisions in times of crisis and problems. When people think creatively and critically, they eliminate the confusion in communication. It also helps a reader in responding effectively in a given context rather than reacting to something. Right? It builds communication confidence, not only to communicate orally but also to communicate in written forms. It also gives you various perspectives and possible solutions to problems that you are facing. It is also a tool to structure your messages and highlight the portion in the message that you want to lay emphasis on and to give a maximum impact of your messages. Effective communication requires clarity of thought, and that comes when you think in critical and creative manners. Usually, creative and critical thinking are considered to be drivers of clear and effective communication. So, effective communication starts with a clear thought process. Is the statement true or false? Excellent. Quick and correct answers. Excellent. The statement is true. So, do we have any questions related to this topic? Any questions, any queries related to creative and critical thinking? All right. So, let me paste the link of the quiz for this topic. There you go. I have given you the link for today's quiz for topic critical and creative thinking. You may start attempting your quiz now. Good to see that you have completed one quiz. We'll now move on to the next topic, interview skills. So what are interview skills? Interview is actually a process that is used for screening job applications and job applicants, selecting employees for your prospective organization. It actually allows the employer to get an idea and direct information about the candidate. It is also called or termed to be a formal meeting at which a few questions are asked. A person answers the question, and the basic purpose is to find out if a person is suitable and eligible for the said job or course of study. Next, what are the purposes? The purpose of an interview could be selection of a proper candidate, promotion of a candidate from one post, junior post to a senior post, performance appraisal or increment in salary, exit opinions, and counseling. Overcoming nervousness. Being nervous is one of the things that occurs with everybody. Nervousness usually occurs due to the fear of the unknown. But one should remember that interview is an opportunity for your best performance. One should practice row boat technique to overcome nervousness. It is actually a breathing technique. Deep breathe in and deep breathe out. Right? Because of the proper air circulation in your body due to deep breathing in and out, there would be more supply of oxygen, which will help you relax your nerves. One should always answer after thinking well and take pauses when you are speaking. Please mark this as an important question from the exam point of view. 4 major types of job interviews. Our purpose here is to look to job interviews. So what are the 4 major types of job interviews? First, campus, then on-site, telephonic, and video conference. Please mark this as an important question from the exam point of view, wherever you are keeping a record of the same. Let's look at each one of them one by one. So campus interview, from the name itself, you can come to know it is conducted in the campuses of the colleges or universities. Companies often inform students in advance, and on arriving in the campus, it might not directly start with an interview, but they would deliver presentations, or which we can call as pre-placement talks. Usually campus interviews are brief and to the point because there is limited number of time that you have in a campus provided by the campus to you or to the company. Next is an on-site interview. On-site interviews occur on the premises of the company. So it's the candidate who has to go to the premises and give his or her interview at that place. Usually candidates are shortlisted after they go through the resumes of the candidates, and candidates are informed about the face-to-face interview. The shortlisted candidates may be called for a final interview, and as compared to campus interviews, they are more detailed in nature because it's the company's premises and the company decides how many candidates should be interviewed in a day. Telephonic interviews, these are the interviews that are conducted by companies over the phone, and verification of submitted resume happens, and candidates are informed beforehand seeking their convenience, and an email is sent to confirm the date and time of the interview. It is shorter than face-to-face interview. Remember, here by face-to-face we mean to say campus interviews as well as on-site interviews. Face-to-face means two people are sitting on opposite sides of the table and the interview is conducted. The last type is a video conference. It is actually used by multinational companies and for hiring people for higher or senior posts. Here, the arrangement of video conferencing by different mediums like Skype. Now we have got Zoom, Google Meet, Google Hangouts is arranged. It is similar to face-to-face interviews. It is similar to campus and on-site interviews, but also has a touch of the modern technology. Now see, this is not, media interview is not a type of an interview for getting a candidate, but it is related to business, and that is why it is mentioned over here. Please mark this as an important question from the exam point of view. Media interviews are important aspect of public relations. It helps promotion of business, government policies, and also to create awareness. Media gets a prior appointment of the person whom it has to interview or who wants to arrange an interview. When giving media interviews, one must focus on the topic and try and move away from any kind of distraction that comes along the way. It is good to think, pause and answer the questions which are asked, because it's going to be live, and media interviews stay in the media for a longer duration of time. One should not be negative, one should be assertive and not push things to limit. So is the question true or false? Telephonic interviews are more detailed than campus interviews. You may type your answers in the chat box. Quick and correct answers, right? Telephonic interviews are not detailed, they are quite brief and short. Then, as compared to the campus interviews. So preparing for an interview, kindly mark this is an important question from the exam point of view. Now you would have already had an idea that whenever it is something related to professional work or a professional setup, there'll always be different kinds of things that you do. One, before the actual event, during the event, and after the event. So here we're going to talk keeping in mind these three things: one, before the interview; two, during the interview; and three, after the interview. All right, this is the three step thing that happens every time when you have a professional background related. So first thing, you should know yourself. Now here the question would arise, madam, we know ourselves, what more do we need to know? Remember, when we were talking about resume writing, we talked that the same resume cannot be used to apply to do different jobs. Similarly, the preparation that you have done for one interview will not work for the second one. Why? You are supposed to relate whatever education you have gained to your position and the employer or the vacancy in the organization. You're supposed to pull out your work experience and your abilities and skills and link them to the job vacancy. You should always be able to give appropriate examples. Next, know the employer. You should always do a little research before you appear for your interview for job. What kind of a working environment does the organization have? What kind of expertise does the organization carry? And in what fields of work does the organization lead is what you should know. First, you should know also about when, where, and how the interview is going to take place. Always remember, if it is an on-site or a face-to-face interview, you need to arrive 10 minutes before the scheduled timing for the interview. Why should you arrive a little early? You should arrive a little early so that it gives you a little time to have a look at the ambience, to have a look at the organization, and also does not result in stress. You may relax yourself for those 10 minutes because you are quite early of time. You have few minutes in hand, so you can relax, have a glass of water, etc. You should have knowledge about the company, and you should also do a mock interview. You should practice what kind of questions. If question 1 is asked, how will I answer question 1? If this sum is asked, how do I do it? Remember, as we have been discussing throughout the syllabus of this subject, that you as a person is not defined by what you speak. It also is defined by how your body speaks. So that is why get plenty of rest. Do not allow stress to come on your face. You need to dress physically as well as mentally for success. Apart from that, it is advisable to carry extra copies of your resume, extra copies of your like Xerox copies of your mark sheets and other certifications, and also a few blank pages as well. Remember to carry a pen. That's very, very important. You cannot ask the interviewer that can I borrow your pen. It means that you have not prepared for the interview. Preparedness means that if they ask for an extra photograph, you should have an extra photograph in your pocket. If they ask you to sign somewhere, you should not be searching for a pen. That is what we mean by extra preparation. And remember, we have been talking in unit 1 as well that communication is a two-way process. An interview is also a part of communication. It does not mean that only the employer can ask the questions. The prospective employee is also assumed that he or she will ask questions. So be ready to ask questions. What kind of questions? We'll look at it further in the PPT. So stages of the interview process, please mark this as an important question from the exam point of view. The first stage is known as the icebreaker, or in simple terms, get to know each other. It starts with greetings and exchange of pleasantry. It is actually an opportunity for you to create a first great impression. Usually, the icebreaker section of an interview begins with general exchange of information like introducing yourself or a general talk about how the weather is, did you have trouble in finding our organization, etc. Next, personal qualifications and interest in the position. Remember, you have been called for the interview after going through your resume. So you're not just supposed to speak what is there on the resume, but here you are supposed to highlight the skills and abilities that you possess are required for that particular job vacancy. Try and talk about accomplishments that you have made which complement the job vacancy. Next, it may happen that the employer may want to test your knowledge about the company and would have few questions like this. So what do you know about our company? Uh, any other project that you have worked which our company works, similar projects that you have thought of? Or there could be some other general questions like what would be your geographic preference? Which means that when there are multinational companies which have many branches and sub branches across the country, as well as in foreign country, people may want to know whether you are comfortable being placed out of your hometown. So there could be a question like what is your geographical location, your geographical preference, or would you be ready to relocate? Right, you should think over such questions as well before you appear for the interview. Now comes your chance. As I said, it's a two-way process. The employee who is appearing for the interviewer, the prospective employee, as well as the employer, both have the chance to answer a question. Now here you cannot be talking about your salary, or you cannot be talking about will I get the job or not. Here you're supposed to ask questions related to your job role. So what kind of a question can the candidate ask? The candidate can ask, what kind of job role am I going to do? Whom will I be reporting to? Will I get a chance to do field work, or is it desk work? What is it that your company can offer me as compared to other similar companies? Are few of the questions that a candidate can ask or may ask. Then you have a close and follow up. People thank you and you thank the other person for sparing time for the interview. They would then evaluate your performance. And remember, this is very important. The interviewer has to send a thank you note within 24 hours to intimate you and tell you that when will the results of the interview come. Remember, you have to work according to time. You take an interview and then you don't tell the person that you are not selected, also not done in the professional world. Even if the candidate is selected or not selected, you have a method of informing. So what you might do is that we might publish the list of selected candidates on our website by the 30th of this month within 15 working days. But that has to be informed to each and every candidate that has appeared for that particular post vacancy. Tips for successful interviewing. Think like an employer and not like an employee. Think like an employer and not like an employee. Never criticize your past workers or co-workers. Maintain professionalism. Don't sit and discuss your personal matters that have nothing to do with your workplace and you getting a job. Prepare for unexpected questions. Be aware of your body language and be well groomed. Never give answers in yes and no. Remember, you have to develop a conversation. It is not a rapid fire round where you say yes and no and it's over. They want to check various skills via your conversation skills. Use specific examples. Remember, I have been telling every now and then, whenever there is something related to professional life or workplace situations, you cannot have general examples. You have to be very specific. They do not require unnecessary information. They would require on the spot, to the point information. Remember, your interview does not start when you are asked the first question. Your interview starts the moment you enter the interview room. Always be positive and carry a positive aura with you. So the candidate should not maintain professionalism if the employer does not. Is the statement true or false? Please pay proper attention when things are being explained. Remember, the interview is not for you to get married to the employee's daughter or son. It is for the case of getting you a job. I have been repeating over time that personal things are not to be discussed in a personal and professional environment. The statement is false. You can go back to the slide, and if you see point number 4, maintain professionalism even if the employer doesn't. So these are the 5 steps. Dress appropriately, arrive in good time, maintain appropriate body language. Just like when you give your exams, some questions can be difficult. You have to maintain and be prepared for the unexpected questions, and never ever forget to ask questions related to your job role. These are a few do's and don'ts of interviews that we have discussed over time. I'll give you 2 minutes to have a look at it. I hope you have had a look at it. The PPT has already been uploaded in your Google Shared folder. These are a few reference materials that you can also refer to when you are looking for improvising your interview skills. And with this, we complete interview skills from unit number 3. Do we have any questions, queries pertaining to the topic? So it's clear. So let's have our quiz for this topic. I have pasted the link of the quiz in the chat box. You may start attempting your quiz now. Good to see that everybody has completed it, completed the quiz. Please note that the syllabus for mid semester 2 is unit number 1, 2 and 3. For for mid sem 2, the syllabus is unit 1, 2 and 3. Please note that. All right, there is just one more topic remaining in unit number 3 that will be completing next week. All the material has been uploaded on your Google shared folder. All right, by the time you were taking your quiz, I've already marked your attendance. So we call it a day over here. Thank you, class. Have a nice day. Thank you.